Captain Forest here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over both these combatants to see who would win more often than not in a equal stats situation, Cyclops versus Black Canary. Now if you guys are new to my channel, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for further content. Also shouts to Coffee Shop Gang, their links will be in the description. Also shouts to HQ Squad, shouts to my boy Korin, he helped me with the Black Canary section in this video, so much appreciate to him. I'm going to go ahead and start off with Cyclops and see what he brings to the table. So Cyclops, he can control the potency of his optic blast. He can fire at a low frequency, a mild frequency, and a full powered one, which is more amplified and destructive, but it makes him a bit tired. Cyclops can also increase the range and the radius of his optic blast to create a wide spread to tag multiple enemies, and he can perform an area of effect with a full powered optic blast if need be. Cyclops can also use his optic blast as a shield to spread out his optic blast to cancel out two beams that were fired from Grotesque's gem. Cyclops' optic blast can disintegrate objects. It's even stated that he has the range advantage in most situations, as the optic blast can reach around 270 plus meters, which is pretty far. That's very impressive. His blasts can also blind you if you're too close to him. He can also BFR people and objects by blasting the ground, causing the force back from the beam to blast you away. Cyclops can also deflect objects with his optic blast, and it's also been stated by Beast that Cyclops is the master of the optic arts. And Jean notes that the X-Men have perfected their powers, which is very impressive for Cyclops in terms of skill. He's very skilled with his mutant ability. He's an absolute master at it. Cyclops has demonstrated a ton of remarkable accuracy feats and skill with his optic blast, such as ricocheting his opponent's blast to take out his foes. He can also split his beams to pressure and tag multiple opponents. Cyclops is able to skillfully disarm his opponents with his optic blast. He did it to Thor, causing Mjolnir to bounce out of his hand and clap Iron Man in the head. And he's able to literally tag an airborne foe by ricocheting his shot from another person. And even when Magneto reflected the blast from Cyclops, it still tags him. So Cyclops is just that many steps ahead of his opponents, which is very impressive. And Cyclops can also position his optic blast to hit things on a microscopic level, and he can also use his optic blast tactically to get his foes off guard by blasting machine behind Grotesque, which blows up and tags him. Cyclops can also use his optic blast to launch himself away from harm's way, and he can also use his optic blast like telekinesis too. And constantly, Cyclops is improving his optic blast against moving targets per week by 4%. Cyclops can also propel himself from the ground. He's demonstrated really masterful control with his optic blast, and his pinpoint precision is so insane. He was able to precisely shoot through a small crack into the ruby armor, causing it to ricochet and hit the guy wearing it, despite the fact that the ruby armor completely nullifies his optic blast. And even while drunk, Cyclops' accuracy is still on par. It's still good. He's still able to tag a glass ball in the air. Cyclops will target vital areas with his optic blast, so he will target vulnerable areas. He also has info analysis in his own right, which I'll talk more about. Cyclops can also blast a hole in the ground, cause you to fall. He made Juggernaut fall into the ground as well. He's also shown incredible acrobatics along with impressive accuracy skills with optic blast. He also notes that his optic blast gets stronger over the years, so he can use his optic blast for longer. So let's move on to Cyclops' gear. Now, if Cyclops cannot physically activate his visor, Cyclops can activate a button on his glove, which opens up his visor, allowing him to shoot out his optic blast. He also carries some ruby quartz contact lenses in emergencies, and if his visor is stolen or compromised, he also carries a pair of ruby quartz glasses to help control and regulate his optic blast. Cyclops is very smart, very strategic, and very tactical in combat. Cyclops is always analyzing and observing his opponent's power and capabilities, while at the same time calculating and coming up with ways to defeat them in combat. Cyclops also has precognition. He's able to stay a step ahead of a dinosaur, and he can also operate on instincts too. Jean and Wolverine have noted that Cyclops remains calm and stoic and never panics in tough situations, so he's a very strong leader has great leadership skills, and he's a very competent fighter. Okay, that's going to round up Cyclops. I'm going to go ahead and move on to Black Canary and talk a little bit about Black Canary and what she brings to the table. So, Dinah Laurel Lance was born into a family of crime fighters. Her father, Larry Lance, was a police officer, while her mother, also named Dinah, was the original Black Canary. There are many versions of Black Canary in comics, movies, and TV, and all of them are superb fighters. Black Canary routinely proves herself among the most skilled users of a variety of martial arts, and she was trained by some of the best. She has been a student of Lady Shiva, Wonder Woman, and Cassandra Cain in various versions of DC Comics' continuity. In any iteration, Black Canary is one of the best fighters around and a major challenge for virtually any foe, as many have found out to their dismay. She was trained by fellow Justice League member and well-renowned boxer Wildcat. Dinah has become quite skilled at boxing style motions in combat. Dinah has become pretty skilled at using Amazonian martial arts while in combat. She was skilled enough to use an Amazonian weapon that she was unfamiliar with to match a depowered Wonder Woman in a fight in terms of martial arts. Black Canary claimed that Wonder Woman let her have the match. However, Wonder Woman assures that it was not the case at all and gives her word to Black Canary. It states verbatim, "You let me have that." "No, I didn't." "Come on." "I did not. I give you my word." Like Batman, Black Canary has studied and used pressure points whilst in combat. Using this fighting style, she can impact an enemy's pressure points in order to temporarily disable them and then finish them off with a swift strike. Heck, if you are not careful, this chick will cut off blood flow from your subclavicle artery. The subclavian arteries are pipes that carry blood rich in oxygen from your heart to your arms and the back of your brain. Due to Dinah tending to prefer kicks over punches generally, she tends to employ a lot of capoeira while in combat. Keep in mind, capoeira is a fast and versatile martial art that is historically focused on fighting outnumbered or in technological disadvantages. The style emphasizes using the lower body to kick, sweep, and take down, and the upper body to assist those movements and occasionally attack as well. It's a Brazilian martial art that combines elements of dance, acrobatics, and music. It was practiced by enslaved Africans in Brazil at the beginning of the 16th century. It is known for its acrobatic and complex maneuvers. We've seen Black Canary skillfully defeat Cheshire. Regarded as one of the best assassins, Cheshire is a formidable hand-to-hand combatant and triple-jointed acrobat known for dipping her fingernails and weapons in various poisons. Savate is a French martial art that uses both the hands and feet for combat while also combining elements of Western style boxing and extremely graceful kick techniques, which Black Canary can employ extremely well due to her graceful fighting style. In Savate, only foot kicks are allowed, preventing the use of the knees. Black Canary is a better fighter than Green Arrow. Green Arrow is a highly skilled archer, aviator, survivalist, and martial artist. Green Arrow, after having spent a year restraining himself, shows great skill. In fact, his skill was so great that he could fight Deathstroke. However, it should be noted that in this fight, Deathstroke's footwork was limited due to muck covering the ground, but even taking that into account, it's still very impressive considering Deathstroke did still have his arms free. In fact, in this fight, Deathstroke seems to complement Green Arrow, knowing how to utilize his weapons well, something Deathstroke doesn't do very often. At the end of the day, Black Canary is a prodigious hand-to-hand combatant, having mastered styles such as Aikido, boxing, capoeira, Hapkido, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, Kung Fu, Krav Maga, Muay Thai, Shurite, and Wing Chun. She has been trained by other top-tier fighters such as Wildcat, Lady Shiva, Cassandra Cain, and Wonder Woman. In addition to her martial arts skills, Black Canary has been depicted as an expert motorcyclist, gymnast, covert operative, and investigator. She is also a phenomenal leader and tactician, having served as the field commander of the Birds of Prey, the leader of the Justice League, and League of Assassins for a time. Yep, Black Canary is a legit badass. However, she has more to bring to the table. Her superpower, the Canary Cry, allows her to create ultrasonic vibrations whenever she screams, allowing her to severely damage both organic and inorganic objects. She possesses an incredible degree of control over her vocal cords. This enables her to mimic sounds and generate any sound she desires, even developing several abilities. She's disabled a revolver using her Canary Cry. Black Canary's cry can reach 300 decibels, which is enough to make a person's ear start to bleed, even if they're not the attacking target. Between 190 and 195 dP, human eardrums rupture about 50% of the time. 202 decibels is enough to kill a baseline human from the sound alone. It's the same amount of energy released by detonating more than 65 pounds of TNT or a Richter 1 earthquake. Realistically though, you're likely to already be dead from shrapnel generated at any level 165 dB, or from being hurled like a pinball at about 10 feet per second above 180 dB. 210.6 dB is equivalent to 1 ton of TNT. 233.19 is equivalent to the energy released from a Richter 5 earthquake or detonating 31,624 tons of TNT. 248 dB is the equivalent energy released by the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. 282 dB is equivalent to the energy released by the detonation of a Tsar bomb, the largest hydrogen bomb ever detonated. The shockwave of that detonation circled the globe 3 times. 296 is equal to the energy released in a Richter 8.6 quake, where the ground rose and fell in waves 13 feet high. The blast wave from the Tunguska meteor, which blew down entire houses over 600 miles away, was an estimated 302 dB. So yes, at 300 dB, it'll make your ears bleed even if you're not the target. They'll just be bleeding somewhere 600 or 700 miles away from the greasy stain that used to be you. Technically speaking, Black Canary can't fly in the traditional sense of superhero flight. She can't deny gravity like Superman, and she doesn't have wings, but she can propel herself into the air with the help of her Canary Cry. If she uses the cry to scream downwards, she can use the sound waves to propel herself upwards. As long as she maintains the cry, she can glide through the air. So that's going to round up both these combatants. I'm going to go ahead, move on, see who would win, more often than not, in an equal stats situation. Okay, so let's go into this equal stats battle, talk about some things. Now, in character, Cyclops is very strategic, he's very smart, he always comes up with like multi-step plans. We all know how Cyclops is, he's very serious. He uses his optic blast in very tactical ways. He can shoot straight, shoot his optic blast in a linear fashion. He can perform ricochet shots, he can split his beams and make those beams bounce off multiple objects in order to precisely, accurately hit the intended target. I think that if he performs this, like his optic blasts, and performs these different measures and methods of his optic blast on Black Canary, that could become an issue. It could present an issue for Black Canary because she has to deal, it's basically a game of, you know, Tetris. She's going to have to find the right perfect timing, and she's going to need to be able to specifically know when to dodge and how to dodge those optic blasts. However, I don't think the optic blasts will be too big of an issue. You know, she's very nimble, she's very acrobatic. Now yes, granted, equal stats, AP and speed is equalized, but even in character, very acrobatic. Her skill is superb. I say in the skill department, she'd wash Cyclops, she'd WWE Cyclops pretty easily. However, I think because of her large skill background, especially being very evasive, she'd just like jump off cars, she'd jump off trees, she'd try her best to try and, you know, outpace or like basically just try and get away from the pressure from the optic blasts. Even though I do think it would become it would become a bit of an issue if she doesn't get away from those optic blasts in time. However, Black Canary is not out for the count. She has her win cons, of course. She does have her Canary Scream. Now, if she does perform the Canary Scream, that could be a very big issue. I think that even without, like, even if it was a range battle, I don't think the keep out game is going to be very effective for Cyclops, because Black Canary has range as well. I think Black Canary, with her Canary Scream, her Canary Cry, whatever you want to call it, is a lot more efficient. It's a better area of effect compared to Cyclops' Optic Blast. Now, the reasons why I say this is because her Canary Cry, it doesn't need to target anyone. It targets, it's basically like friendly fire. If she yowls and she performs like a Canary Cry, it can hit targets that aren't even like the intended target. So let's say she's yelling at you. If there's anyone around her or anyone who's far away, because I've mentioned the insane range that the Canary Cry can reach, they're going to turn into mush. Their ears are going to start to erupt. Their ears are going to ring. Their ears are going to start bleeding. And I think because of this, I think Black Canary takes victory. The issue here is that with Cyclops, yes, his Optic Blast is amazing. He's extremely skilled with it. I think it would definitely, you know, apply some pressure and make Black Canary have to jump around. But the problem is with Cyclops' Optic Blast, his blasts, they have to hit the target in order to do anything. The Optic Blasts, those beams are useless if they don't hit you. Whereas Black Canary, she doesn't need to be near you. Like, she doesn't need to like be physically near you. She doesn't need to be too close. She could be in a house and you could be like across the street, and she could just yell and you would turn to mush and your ears will start you know, ringing and your eardrums will erupt. And because of that nasty wide like area of effect, I think that's far more efficient and it's a better ability compared to Cyclops's. So I think in a equal stats situation, I would have to give victory to Black Canary. Her Canary Cry is more effective. In fact, she wouldn't necessarily need to get close to Cyclops. Like, once she starts feeling pressure, she could just yowl from a distance. That will cause Cyclops to basically writhe in pain. He's going to be too busy nursing his injuries from the Canary Cry. He's going to start blasting optic blasts from his eyes. In fact, she could use it strategically, blast away the visor. He's going to lose control. She's going to get in, wapow, wapoo, put his ass in the hospital. So I see more often than not, Black Canary takes victory. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section. But yes, Captain Forrest signing out. Peace.